Hey guys, me Hellhound, and well, unfortunately I have some tragic news today. If you haven't already heard, that is, as most of you probably already know, Return of the Living Dead from 1985 is very likely my favorite movie of all time. It's a very hard choice between that one and Evil Dead 2, but I kind of want to give the edge to Return of the Living Dead sometimes. It just depends on what I'm in the mood for. The thing about Return of the Living Dead is, what's interesting is some of the younger characters. Well, I find the older characters even cooler and more interesting than the younger characters. Don't get me wrong, the punk rockers are all awesome. You know, I love them all. They're all just excellent. You know, Suicide and Scuzz and Spider and Trash, you know, all of them. They're so cool. But I always thought that the older characters, you know, Frank, Bert, and Ernie, as played by, you know, James Karen, Clu Gallagher, and Don Calfa, respectively, were even more fun to watch, and they stole every scene they're in. They kind of made it, you know, it was kind of their movie, you know. And for years, Ernie, as played by Don Calfa, was my favorite character in the movie. You know, because I just love his reactions to what's going on. Sorry, I can't get a good angle in here. There, I think that's probably... I probably should have done that before I started filming, but it's a little crooked, but that's okay. I have really bad news, so, you know, it doesn't need to be a pleasant looking video. Yeah, Ernie was my favorite character for a while. He's just awesome, and I've seen Don Calfa in a few other movies, most notably Weekend at Bernie's. He played Paulie, the hitman who actually killed Bernie, so he was the one who set into motion the events of the film, the storyline. And I've seen him in a few other movies, but obviously my favorite role is always going to be, you know, Ernie in Return of the Living Dead. Well, I just found out today that Don Calfa is actually no longer with us. Very sad. He died on Thursday. Let's see. What's today? Saturday. Yeah, he died on December 1st. Today's the 3rd. I just now found out today, so I'm a little late. But, you know, it's not like he was like a huge star, you know, and he wasn't in, you know, very many movies, and some of you are probably even thinking, who's Don Calfa? But he made a huge impact on you know, my life as a movie fan, and, you know, a horror fan, of course, and Return of the Living Dead being my favorite movie. He was just awesome. So this is very tragic news for me, mostly because, well, I mean, it's always sad when somebody dies, but also because I was still holding out hope that, I mean, I didn't think this was going to happen, but now there's, you know, there's not a chance that they would make a true sequel to Return of the Living Dead. The thing is, Don Calfa himself was actually the one who came up with an idea, Revenge of the Living Dead. He was going to write it, maybe even direct it. I think he actually even made, like, a graphic novel or a comic book series. I don't know if it's ever been released. It's one of those things that you read about, but you like never actually see in a store or anything. Kind of like a Terror Drone, the video game with your Jason and Freddy and Leatherface and your Pinhead and Chucky and Michael Myers and all them. You know, you see it all over the internet, but you're actually going to play it? Probably not. Revenge of the Living Dead is one of those things. It would have been a true sequel, unlike, you know, some of the actual sequels we got instead, which were mostly unrelated to the first film. This would have taken place right when the first one left off, after the bomb dropped. Turns out the bomb would have missed, and all the characters actually survived the explosion, and, you know, which showed what happened afterwards, which I thought would have been awesome. You know, hopefully, you know, it would have been so cool to see all the actors return, all the characters. You know, even if they looked older, I wouldn't have cared. You know, even if they aged significantly. I mean, God, that was like over 30 years ago. I wouldn't have cared. You know. But that was Don Calfa's idea. He always wanted to make a true sequel. That was like his, you know, he enjoyed working on Return of the Living Dead. He enjoyed being in that movie. You can tell, even watching him in it, you know, it's pretty infectious. You can tell he was having a good time. And he was very convincing in his role as Ernie the Cremator. I always thought he was hilarious. But yeah, it's really unfortunate that he passed. I guess now that'll never happen. Or maybe now, then again, maybe now that he died, you know, somebody will, you know, continue that work on Revenge of the Living Dead. Maybe they'll actually want to release it now to honor him, you know, possibly. I still kind of have my doubts. I'm not going to get my hopes up just yet, but it'd be a really cool thing to see. I'd at least like them to release it in the full graphic novel format, or, you know, or even just, you know, a regular novel, a book, a comic series, something, you know. Animated movie. I'd love to see a true follow-up to Return of the Living Dead. It'd be the coolest thing ever. Because honestly, you know, Return of the Living Dead Part 2, I didn't really follow the events of the original. It had some of the same actors, some of the same scenarios. It kind of felt like more of a rehash, really. Just not as good, a watered-down, you know, more childish version. And then all the other sequels were, you know, pretty much barely even connected. So I would have loved to see Revenge of the Living Dead. And Don Calfa, that's what he wanted to happen. He wanted to happen. It's really sad when the actors have better ideas for sequels than the actual directors and writers do. Like, you know, Corey Feldman wanted to make Friday the 13th Part 12, you know, set in wintertime and have him return as Tommy. That sounds way better than a stupid reboot, which is inevitably going to happen anyway in its place. And Eric Freeman from Silent Night Deadly Night Part 2 wants to make a true follow-up to Silent Night Deadly Night Part 2, where he returns as Ricky. Instead we got, you know, Bill Moseley. It was a good choice, but, you know, he was completely silent. He had his brain exposed. He was connected to some blind psychic. And he didn't even dress as Santa Claus. And then, you know, the other two sequels weren't even related at all. So it'd be cool to see a true follow-up. Maybe call it Silent Night Deadly Night Returns. And then, you know, then Don Calfa have an idea for Revenge of the Living Dead. A lot of times actors have a better idea than the actual makers do. Hold on! But yeah, rest in peace, Don Calfa. You know, you will be missed, but your legacy will live on. I'm going to watch Return of the Living Dead later today in his, you know, in honor of his memory, and you know, he resulted in some truly good times for yours truly. He was definitely an important part of my childhood. Great character, great movie. He was the one who wanted to make a direct follow-up in Revenge of the Living Dead, which now we'll probably never see. Very unfortunate. But, you know, I'm still going to hold out a little bit of hope. You know, who knows? Of course, he won't be in it, which is the big, you know, which is the biggest issue. But, you know, I'd still see it. They should have done it when they had the chance while he was still alive. But yeah, he was 76 years old. He died 2 days ago, December 1st. I guess, you know, it's pretty sad that, you know, it's almost Christmas. The Christmas season's here. We started out with some very tragic news this Christmas season. But yeah, if you guys haven't already heard, Don Calfa is gone, and it's very sad. So rest in peace, Don Calfa. Long live Return of the Living Dead. Maybe, hopefully, someday we'll get some kind of Revenge of the Living Dead, you know, in some form or another. Who knows? But all right, guys. Well, I'm Hellhound, and all those horror fans are gonna just mourn the loss of a great, truly great actor and human being. All right, guys. I'm Hellhound. Until next time, rock on.